Can you install any operating system from a USB drive? Have you ever wondered if you can install any operating system from a USB drive? Well, the answer is yes, but there are some important details to consider. Let's break it down. First, a USB drive can be made bootable. This means it contains the necessary files and structure to start a computer and launch an operating system installation program. To install an operating system from a USB drive, the computer's firmware, which is either basic input-output system or unified extensible firmware interface, must support booting from USB. You also need to configure it to prioritize USB booting. Now, let's look at some major operating systems and how they work with USB drives. For Windows, Microsoft offers official tools like the Media Creation tool. This tool helps you create a bootable USB drive for Windows 10 and 11 installations. The USB drive will have the Windows installation files copied or extracted from an ISO image. It is important to format the USB drive correctly, usually to either File Allocation Table 32 or New Technology File System. Sometimes, you may need to split large installation files due to the size limits of File Allocation Table 32. Once you boot from the USB, the Windows Setup program will guide you through the installation steps, including language selection and partitioning. When it comes to Linux distributions like Ubuntu, Fedora, or Debian, most provide ISO images that can be written to USB drives. You can use tools like Rufus, Etcher, or uNetBoothin to make the USB bootable. These tools include the full operating system installer or a live environment. Linux USB installers typically support both basic input-output system and unified extensible firmware interface boot modes, allowing you to install or test the operating system live. For macOS, the process is a bit more restricted. You usually need a Mac computer to install macOS from a USB drive. Apple provides official methods to create bootable USB installers using the terminal and downloaded macOS installer applications. Booting from the USB allows you to install or recover macOS. There are several use cases for installing an operating system from a USB drive. You can install a fresh operating system on a new or existing computer that does not have an optical drive. It is also useful for repairing or reinstalling an operating system. Running live environments for testing or troubleshooting is common with Linux distributions. Additionally, deploying operating system installations across multiple devices becomes more efficient with USB drives. However, there are limitations. Not every operating system supports installation from USB. Older or specialized operating systems might still requiring CDs or DVDs. The USB drive must be properly prepared with the correct bootloader and file system. The target device must also support booting from USB, which may requiring changes in the basic input-output system or unified extensible firmware interface settings. Some operating system installations may have hardware or licensing restrictions, such as macOS on non-Apple hardware. In summary, while you cannot install literally any operating system from a USB drive, most modern operating systems, including Windows, various Linux distributions, and macOS, support installation from USB. The process involves creating a bootable USB with the operating system installation files and configuring the computer to boot from it. This allows for flexible and portable operating system deployment across various hardware.